using the wands, or you can do this without the wands, but one hand on each end of the wand if your arms are long enough. If not, you could always hold in a little closer. We'll start stretching up toward the ceiling and pushing with that lower hand. A breath in, a breath out. Have a nice push. And we'll go to the other side. So one hand getting a free ride toward the ceiling. The other hand now pushing up toward the ceiling. I have my fingers just kind of resting over the top there. A push up, a breath in, breathing out, a little more push. This is really stretching what feels like muscles that really need to be lengthened. And we'll do a little back and forth as a way to stretch. Your arm may not go up as far. Just whatever your shoulder feels comfortable with. And then we're going to change it front and back. Squeeze your seat, tighten the belly, and it's mostly coming from the shoulders, a little bit of a back twist. Let's go to the other side. So both shoulders moving in that front and back motion. And then if you're okay with overhead, we might come overhead, come down. So behind the head here. And then up. Squeeze the belly, tighten the thighs, and we'll come down. And we'll come up. You might just, if you're, depending on your flexibility, you could go to the top of your head and stay there. Or you could go behind the neck. And then we'd like to twist, keeping the hips forward. So just the upper body twisting one way, the other, and then over to the side, a side bend, and a side bend. Let's bring it on top of the head and do hips stay forward, a twist, look to the side, look to the other side, and then a side bend, and a side bend. And we'll come down like this. We're getting ready for a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then we're gonna do a little squat with the reach. So we'll bend the knees, stick the seat out, keep your back flat, and then we'll reach. So you can see the wand goes out just above head height and then bring it back in. And what we're doing, using both arm muscles, and when you reach, you feel those belly muscles contract. And reach and back in. All the while, that squat, and then come up. We'll separate the hands a little, do another breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then one more thing for the shoulders, getting good and loosened up. Just put it right along your arm. Check behind you and in front of you. We're going to do a backward arm circle. Actually, watch the ceiling. I'm just looking up and around. Let's change hands. And another circle around. Okay. And then just, we'll use the wands again toward the middle of class. So we'll put those to the side. Great warm up with those. And we're going to go to some music for impacts and different kinds of strengthening. Starting with a stomp. And you might be doing a light stomp to start with, which is fine. Now we'll go to a more intentional stomp. And if you have a floor without a rug, just shift to the harder surface. Still stomping, but really using your seat muscles, toes in. Toes and thump, toes, thump. Onto the heels hard, toes, thump. Stomp, 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 thump. Thump, thump. If you want to do a jump, 1, 2, 3, go. Upper jump. And we'll separate, back together, and out. Back together. We're going to lunge and lift, lift, lunge back. Again to that side lunge. Really lean out with the lift and a lift. Let's bring it over. Other side, lunge, lift. So back staying flat. In, out, lift, and a lift. Good. Back in. Let's go to our tiptoes. Let's go to heels. And toes again. And a light jog. And we'll double time it. Okay. And go ahead. Let's take a breath in. And a breath out. Let's bring the hands forward. Backward arm circle. Let's reach up. Stretch with one arm, stretch with the other arm, stretch and stretch. And then arms overhead, squeeze your seat, squeeze your belly, pull up the urinary muscles, and then we'll go side to side. Doing that core strengthening with flexibility. Be sure to breathe. Okay, and then a breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And we're going to get our benches if you have them. And the chair would probably be actually best to the side where you can hold on if you need it. Okay. And let's start with, we'll step forward and then back. So a step forward, a lift, and back to the floor. A step forward, a lift, back to the floor. Step forward, lift, pause, back to the floor. A step forward, lift, pause, and back to the floor. And let's try a kick back, a step forward, a kick back, and down to the floor. Step forward, kick back. Let's try a double kick back. Forward, kick, kick, back to the floor. Front, kick, kick, back to the floor. Each side again. Step, kick, kick, back to the floor. And a step, kick, kick, back to the floor. A breath in, a breath out. And now be sure your chair is there. We're going to do a front kick, back kick. And so this is really different for balance. So make sure you have your chair there and then your fingertips do reach your chair. Okay, and so it's going to be a step forward, kick, kick, back to the floor and up with the other leg. Step, kick, kick, back to the floor. Kind of like a kickboxing thing. Step, kick, kick, back to the floor. A step, kick, kick, and back to the floor. A breath in, a breath out. And we're gonna do a little lift to the side. So it'll be step, and we're gonna bring the knee forward, out to the side, and forward, back to the floor. We'll go to the other side, forward, out to the side, front, and back to the floor. So getting those hip muscles, front, forward, out, and back to the floor, front, lift, out, and back to the floor. And another breath in, a breath out, and then we're gonna do some stepping over the bench and back. Another way to work on balance, and good to have your chair there. So it won't actually touch the bench. And if you're on the floor, just an imaginary line on the floor, taking a big step over. And then we're just gonna bring that leg right back. And we'll do that same leg again, a step over. And if you have a bench, can you bring that back knee down, touch your bench, and then we'll spring back over. And we'll go to the other leg, chair's there, step over, maybe touch your knee down and step back, a step over, and a practice lunge. I'm still keeping my shoulders back over my hips and stepping back. And a breath in, a breath out, and then we're gonna turn sideways. For that, the chair goes in the front. Bench is gonna face, the end of the bench will face your screen. I'll move my chair so you can see me, but do leave your chair in front of your bench. And we're gonna start with the legs on each side of the bench. And we'll do a step, knee lift, down, down, step, knee lift, down, down. Let's try a step, side lift, down, down, a step, side lift, down, down. We'll do that again because that's so good for the hip. That step, side lift, down, down, step, side lift, down, down, and then we're going to separate, and then we'll lunge over to one side. And think of that lunge where your chest comes really far forward, your seat goes out behind you. You could still look forward. Okay. And now I want this foot over here to be far enough out that I can lunge back that way. Okay, and I'm going to lunge over the bench again. Lunge, really sticking my seat out. I'm going to do a double lift. If you feel that weight in the hip, I'm going to go back. And then a lunge, but far enough out that I could bring my other foot over, flat back, seat out, lift, lift. And this lift, I'll bring this leg over to this side. Breath in, a breath out. I want to practice lunging in that direction. Big lunge, leaning over, knee faces straight ahead. My kind of chest aligned over that leg. And then I'm going to lunge back over there. Another lunge, shifting over, a lift this time, and a lift, and then springing back. One more time, lunge over, get in that position, a lift, lift, and this time we'll lift this leg back over to this side. And a breath in, a breath out. And let's set the benches aside. We're done with them for today. Now get your weights, if you have them, your chair. Okay. And what we like to do is we'll use the weights as we sit and stand. As you know, we often do this without weights, and your body weight is more than enough to get a lot of exercise from this. We're going to bring the weights up here by the shoulders and then pull the elbows back so your position looks like this. We step to where we feel the chair behind your knees. Elbows back and let your shoulders widen and feel that little wrinkle between the shoulder blades. Feet about as wide as the hips. Knees stay separated also. We're going to stick the seat out. Keep the back flat. Let the heart come forward. And then we're going to straighten one arm to the back, working on triceps. Straighten the other arm. And we'll come here. And then we'll slowly lower. And let's come all the way up. And then pull the elbows back, squat. Maybe squat a little lower out over your chair. Keep the knees separated. Keep the back flat. Pull in the belly and straighten one arm. Straighten the other arm. And we'll lower and lift. Let's do a backward shoulder circle with the breath. And then we'll lower part way, pull the elbows back again. Lower a little more, pull the belly in. Urinary muscles are contracted. Feet and knees stay equally separated. If you can lower more, go ahead and do that. And then we'll come back and back. And then we'll lower. And let's come up. Now we're gonna keep these weights here. Keep the elbows pulled back. So really using the upper back muscles. And we're gonna do that elevator type of movement while we're holding the weights, if you have them, at your sides. If for some reason your shoulders are tired or this is a problem for you, you could always bring your weights lower somewhere. But to activate the upper back muscles, we could pull the elbows back. Okay, let's go down. So this is the penthouse. There are 5 floors, basement, maybe 6 floors. Basement, first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, and penthouse. Penthouse is all the way up. And if we go to the basement, slowly, it's all the way down. Let's go to the 3rd floor. Let's go to the 4th floor. Let's go to the 2nd floor. Keeping those elbows back if you can. Let's go to the top floor. And let's go to the 3rd floor and very slowly to the basement. 2nd floor, 1st floor, 2nd floor, 4th floor, and let's go back to the basement. So getting those squats in. Okay, we're going to bring the feet forward now that we're here. If it works for you, to rest your weights on your thighs, we're going to take a breath in and out. Circle the shoulders back. Okay, sitting in the sun, I'm gonna have to open the window here. There. Okay, all right, so I've been enjoying taking this class at Lynn Benton Community College and learning some new exercises. This is one of those. We're gonna cross the weights and rest them on one knee. So I have my weights kind of crisscrossed. So I could hold on to them with one hand, and they're not actually on my knee. They're like about 6 inches back from my knee on my thigh. Now I'm going to push with both hands to straighten my back, and I'm halfway forward in the chair. I'm going to really firmly contract my belly. I'm going to firmly contract my back muscles so I can hold myself really upright. And then I'm going to step the leg to the side and step it back in. Really a nice workout for the core and the hip. And we'll do that one more time. And in. I'm going to take the weights, I'm going to put them on the other thigh, and then I am going to stretch this leg, coming to the toe, reaching back if you want, because it's just so nice to keep that stretch through the collarbones. And I'm going to stretch out and in, out, and in. So I'm using 2 5-pound weights. You could use one weight if you notice that's a real strain for your hip muscles. You could use lighter weights. Lifting the heart, belly in, back contracted, out, and in. And I'm only doing it 3 times, so don't want to irritate anybody's hip, including my own. And in, and then I'm going to move those weights over. I'm going to come to the toe, and I'm going to stretch, pushing the knee out and in, all the while lifting, pulling the shoulders back, contracting the belly. All of those details, like the belly and the back contracting, help protect the hip with that movement. We'll change the movement up a bit. We're going to bring the weights here, and as so you can see your the ends of your weights are facing your screen. As we push up, we're going to separate the legs and back in. So another core and arm exercise this time, which really will work the belly and the hips. Now, if you don't like going overhead, you could always go up just a little if that works. Or an alternative would be like a biceps, like this. But if you're able to go overhead, it's always nice to keep that overhead reach working for when you need to get things out of the top cupboard. Reach, and you really feel the belly being activated with that overhead reach. And a reach. And then we'll come back to the weights for lunges toward the end of class. So right now, weights out of the way. And we're going to do some work on the lower body. So let's take the shoes off. Okay. Come halfway forward in the chair. We're going to do some forward sitting and side sitting exercises for the feet and flexibility overall. Let's reach forward and coming back. And then let's go ahead and come to the ball of the feet. Feet and knees about as wide as your hips, keeping them equally separated. Feet right under the knees. Shoulders back and down, belly in. Urinary muscles contracted, pulling yourself off of the chair, and then curl the toes. And we'll come down and we're going to come up on the heels. Up to the ball of the feet, curling to the toes. and coming down and onto the heels. And then we'll get some more flexibility by going toes out and coming up. And you want to feel the stretch in the hips. Remind the belly to stay in. Come down, toes in, knees squeeze. Coming up and down. Toes out, knees out. Pressing up and down. Toes in, knees in. Pressing up and down. Then just bring your heels to where they're right under your knees again. Reinforce the belly contraction. Reinforce the urinary contraction. And we're going to lift and point. And we're going to circle, circle one way, circle the other way in the ankle. So building endurance in these muscles by holding that leg up and keeping the ankle flexible for the other side. If you can see yourself, trying to make sure the shoulders are staying wide, shoulders back and down, heart lifted, and you're doing your biggest ankle circle, being sure to go each direction. And then we'll float that back down. A breath in and out. And then for the knee, we're just going to grab the chair if you can reach it. And we're going to swing one knee at a time to get it fully straight. So getting that knee motion, trying to keep the shoulders back, heart lifted, kind of a kick out there to really straighten the knee. Let's go to the other side. Straight and bend. Also a good thigh contraction with that kick, kick, and kick. And down. Then we'll separate. Lean forward, flat back. Let go of the chair now. And then tuck the chin, pull in the belly, curl up, and unroll. Widen the shoulders, flat back, lean, lean, lean. And then curling up, tucking the chin and unrolling. And then from here, we're just going to kind of come a little on the ball of the foot and we'll pivot. One knee coming down, other knee going to the side. And let's now this knee, let's just bring that knee up. So now your legs are kind of in an L. We'll drop the front arm. We're going to grab the back of the chair and we'll just do a side bend. So you kind of go behind that knee and then sweep your hand up toward the ceiling and over the back of the chair and over, reaching down and up and over the back of the chair. And now for the back flexibility, this hand reaches out and it's going to go around, touch the opposite shoulder. Watch your hand with your eyes. And then around to the back. So you're getting your full rotation of the back. Watch your hand. And watch your hand go back. And then we're just going to bring that arm here. Bring the leg here. We're holding on to the chair. Okay. And tighten the belly muscles and let them lower you back 30 or 45 degrees. And then we're going to lift one knee, straighten, bend, and switch. Straighten, bend, and switch. So the focus is on contracting the belly as we lift and straighten the legs, doing a scissors switch, straighten, bend, and switch, and straighten, bend. And we'll bring those legs down. Let's take a breath in and a breath out. And now we're going to work on the bone density of the wrists. Grab your chair, grab the back of the chair, and give a push, maybe 5 or 10 pounds of pressure to build bone density in the wrists. We can build more strength if you're comfortable with it by lifting the hips. And we could add seat muscles, pushing the hips forward. And then we could come back to the chair and slowly lower. So everything's slow and with control. For many people, this push and hold, just hold this while we do everything else. If this is what your shoulders and wrists are okay with, if you have that extra strength to boost your seat off the chair, contract the seat and a lift, hover back over the chair, and a controlled return to the chair. Let's bring our arms up. Let's just take a little step, a wide step, and now we can just pivot, get the hands, this hand on the chair. I'm going to drop this hand and then come up to that foot. So now your legs are in an L shape. And now we'll do that side bend, leaning over, sweep the hand up and overhead, working really in a focused way on that back and rib flexibility. Up and overhead, and then your hand reaching out, and we're going to do rotation now. Watch your hand as it swivels around to touch your opposite shoulder. And watch your hand go behind you. So your neck, your eyes, your back getting full motion. A touch into the back. And we'll drop that hand. Bring the knees together. We're still sideways in the chair. And we're going to go ahead and use the belly. And then we'll go to the bone density. So it's that firm stomach contraction. Let your stomach muscles slowly lower you back. And we'll start with some knee lifts. A knee lift, straighten all the way, a knee lift, and now a scissors switch. Straighten all the way, bend, switch, a straightening, bending, switch. Reinforce the belly, straighten, bend, switch, straighten, bend, switch, and last one, straighten, bend, down. Use your belly, pulling you up. Hand here, hand on the back, and that 5 or 10 pounds of pressure will work on bone density. So want to keep bone density in the wrists and the forearms. If you have the strength, you could go ahead and boost your seat off the chair, and then you could lift your hips forward. So a lot of seat contraction, push the belly button toward the ceiling, go back, hover over the chair, and a slow release. And you could do a light push. You could stay there for the next 15 seconds. Extra strength, you could boost your seat up, seat forward, firm seat contraction. Come back, hover, and slowly lower. And then this time we'll step back to center. And we do want to open and close in the hands. Feet are separated, straightening the back, and then circle in the wrists one way and then the other way. Decompress in the wrists. We'll turn to one leg, lean over, a bear hug. Pull yourself toward that leg. Arms very wide, so the back muscles are contracting, and a lift. Other side, a bear hug. And then arms out with a lift. We're going to open and close and circle and circle. Okay, and then we'll just spring the legs back together. We're going to bring the hands down and scoot back in the chair. We're going to do a different abdominal and thigh exercise before we go to the wands. So now go ahead, lean back. We'll swing both knees I hear from people, they do this exercise in the evenings, watching TV, during the daytime when they sit down to read. A very wonderful exercise for the knees. Okay, now we're just going to hold them both out there. We're going to do a couple of different exercises here. One, with the knees locked, if you can, so that the thighs are firmly contracted. When you lock the knees or get the knees super straight, it really contracts all of the muscles in the thigh, which are important for knee health. And then we're going to lift one leg 3 times, other leg 3 times. Check in with the knees, make sure you have firm contraction, the knees are really straight, and the other side 3 times, and then 3 times. And you should start to feel a little fatigue in your thighs if you're really keeping those knees straight. And then so we get more abdomen, we'll do a little flutter kick, but these legs long and straight, long and straight. And put those knees flat. We're going to bring the hands to the knees. And it's just important to relax the back after leg lifts. So we'll curl up, look towards your lap, look forward, look up, arch the back. Hold on to your knees so you don't fall over backward. Pull in the belly, curl up, look forward, look up, and arch. And then go ahead and look to the front. And we're going to use our wands now. And for arm health, also good for bone density of the wrists and the fingers because of the twisting and pulling on those bones and muscles. Let's sit halfway forward in the chair for this. That really encourages the use of your core muscles when you're forward. We'll separate the feet and the knees, maybe slightly wider than the hips, kind of a good base of support. And let's start with a good strengthener and stretcher. A reach, straight arms, a little lift, and elbows stay in, and we'll come back to the rib cage. A reach and a lift, and coming back in. Also for the shoulders, we can do a circle, just bringing this around and the other way. We'll bring it in by bringing the elbows back, so you end up with really a lot of stretch here. And let's lift and straighten and lift to the floor, trying for a controlled floating type of motion, but very powerful, where you fully straighten your knee and let it land softly. Straighten. Okay. Let's bring it to the front. We'll spread wide. Forward again. Switch hands, spread wide. So one of the things where we really want to work on is having those wide shoulders and strong contractions of the upper back. Very good for back health and shoulder health. Let's take another circle. Breathing in and out. A breath in and out. Okay. One more flexibility move, and then we're going to do the wands with music, and then we'll go to standing with the weights and some lunging. So behind the back, you have to be far enough forward in the chair that your hands can move freely behind you, and then lifting up and pushing the elbows back. Light pressure of the wand on your low back. Pull your belly in to flatten the low back. So now you have all your core muscles working, and then we'll reach to one side, other side. Urinary muscles are contracted. They usually contract when you pull that belly in. With that, you would do a little reach. And then come to one side, and then we kind of Move the hand to the center. We'll pull the wand out. And a breath in, a breath out. So now we're going to do some exercises with music. And if this is bothering your shoulders, what I recommend is you don't use the wand with the music. The wand can either be really therapeutic for your shoulders or it can be too much of a challenge. So you have to decide what's best for you. Halfway forward, elbows back, right at the lower edge of your rib cage. Reach and lift and reach, lift. One more, that nice reach and stretch. Circle. Other direction. And elbows back, lift, straighten. Another one. Keep going. Lift, straighten, really pulling the elbows back, lifting your heart, belly in. Down, backward arm circles. Watch out for your walls. Other arm. Now, feet separated, planted overhead. Contract the belly. Do this nice flexibility and strengthener. Lean like trees in the breeze. The front. Now we're going to give a twist. Feeling a twist in the fingers, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder. Bone density and mobility with that. Belly contraction, shoulders back, back contraction, little march, front, and wide. Other side, wide. There we go behind the back now. Elbows back, belly in to flatten the low back. We're gonna reach and reach and reach and reach. Just bring it to the front. Straight back, heart lifted. And we'll work on endurance of the arm muscles with a swimming motion or a paddling motion. I'm pushing my elbow straight as I push forward each time. Now I'm going to backstroke it. Flexibility up. Center to the floor. To the center. Bring the elbows in. We're going to rotate with that. Using the core now. Rotation. Forward. Rotate. Forward. Reach. And if you can go overhead. Reach. And we're slowly down. Slowly up, using the back muscles. Reaching out. Slowly down, and we're going to stay there. And let your head dangle. Waggle your head. Just lay your wand on the floor. Waggle your head. Waggle your shoulders. Get a good neck and back stretch. Then go ahead, pick up your wand, 2 hands, and then go over one knee. So I just shifted from the center, turn a little, I'm leaning over one knee. Then for my back muscles, I'm going to reach straight out and use my back muscles to come up. I'm going to turn, lean over the other knee, touch the floor lightly, then reach straight out. My arms now parallel to the ground, back contracts, coming up. Bring legs in, wand down, one hand on each side. And we'll do an arm stretch before we go to the weights with our lunges. And a push. Okay, so put the wands aside and we're going to get our weights. And do some lunging with weights. You could have your shoes off or on, whichever you prefer. If you're on a slippery surface, you may want to put your shoes on. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll do some marching. As you do it, think of what you need to think about with your belly and your back muscles. Think about shoulder position. Think about strength and control, strength and balance as you control the lift of that knee and lower it slowly. And then we're going to pause and hold. And let's march a few times. Let's lift the other knee and we'll pause and hold. Okay, let's bring the arms to the sides like this and we'll lift one knee and we're going to raise and lower, raise and lower. So the elbows stay straight out to the side. We're working on the rotator cuff here. And we'll lower. And we'll go to the other side. We'll change that exercise a little. We're going to go out and in and out and in. A little gentler way to work on the rotator cuff. And out and down. Let's circle the shoulders up and back. A breath in, a breath out. Okay, we'll separate the feet a little and we'll go to a squat and let your weights come forward. I'm thinking with that squat, I'm thinking I'm keeping my back flat. I'm not letting the shoulders droop. I'm holding the shoulders so I'm more flat across my upper back. And then as I come up, I'm going to pull the weights to my armpits and come up to my toes. And maybe a little lower in that squat. And up to the toes. And up to the toes. Really sticking the seat out. And up to the toes. Not letting the shoulders droop. Shoulders staying back. And up to the toes. I'm going to to stay up. And a breath in, and a breath out. Stepping back. I'm getting ready to do some forward lunges with some biceps and overhead work. So a forward lunge to a flat foot, bend both knees, check to make sure you see your toes past your front knee. And we'll do both arms, up, overhead, and down. So if you don't want to do overhead, just go to here and back down. Let's bring that leg back and let's go to the other side. The other thing about the overhead, if it bothers you, you could use a lighter weight. So some people do have several different weights. As we come down, let's step back. We'll step forward and bend up, down, ready to step back. Maybe we'll lift the weights as we step forward. Front, up, stepping back, into front, up, down, stepping back, front, up, down, stepping back. Okay, let's, holding the weights, let's bend the knees a little and let's circle. Just thinking of the knees needing a little extra stretch, and we'll circle the other way. And go ahead and shake the knees out a little. Okay, and then we'll get ready to do some side lunges and some upper back exercises with those. So we have our, we're gonna just bring those weights up toward your shoulders as we do a side lunge, shifting your weight over onto the one leg and then that tip. Shoulders do stay wide. We're gonna straighten the arms so they're bent about 30 degrees and lift out and lift out while we're staying over there. And then as we step back, we'll just bring the weights back up. Let's lift up and over. Again, shift, tip, shoulders stay wide. Straighten the arms partially, a lift out, and then bringing the weights up. We're going to do 2 more on that side. As we are kind of upping the number of lunges, just be aware, if you have hip or knee problems, take a smaller lunge. And maybe you don't have to do all of them. Okay, and another one. Shifting over, tipping forward, shoulders stay wide, partially straighten the arms and straight to the sides. And we'll come up. This time, let's take a lunge out. And then we'll bring that leg over. So I want to end up kind of toward the other side of the room. Put the weights here. And then I'm going to lunge to the other side. So side lunge, shift my weight, tipping forward, shoulders staying wide, still partially straightening. Then I'm going to do one arm at a time. Muscles getting a little tired. Okay, and coming back. Weights back right in front of your shoulders. Stepping out, tipping, seat back, chest forward, shoulders wide, partially straightening. One arm at a time. And weights to the shoulders, stepping back. Stepping out again. Partially straightening. Out. And back in. And let's step out one more time. really should be feeling it in that hip. We tip. Let's drop the weights. Let's bring the elbows straight back. Elbows straight back. And then let's bring this leg over as we come up. We're going to keep the weights here. We're going to make sure we've lifted and straightened, pulled in the belly, and we're going to come up on the toes. Get some extra strength in the calves. Weight towards your first and second toe. Firm ankles, trying to control any ankle wobble. Okay, and then stepping forward, we're going to do back lunges. So that's to the ball of the foot to the back, and then we'll bend both knees and check your front toes that you see them past that knee. We'll straighten the back. Actually, we only want to use one weight. Forgot. So one weight to the floor. We're going to bring one weight up here by the front of the neck. So we're going to go to the side, to the back, overhead, and back of the head, around to the front, and we'll bring that back leg forward. We're going to step back with the other leg, get in our back lunge position, both knees bend, around to the back of the head, overhead, back down, into the front, and step forward. So this is an exercise. Could even be done sitting in a chair if the lunge is not working for you. Great for shoulder flexibility, great for arm strength. To the front, we'll step forward, stepping back, bend both knees, shoulders back over the hips, around behind the head, overhead, down to the front, and we'll come forward. Okay, we're going to finish with a few exercises on the chair. Let's go ahead and put the weights down. I wanted to get in one core exercise on the chair for this week. Let's go ahead, a breath in, a breath out, circle back. This is also one that's from the class that I'm taking. I really like this exercise. We bring the elbows to the chair. We're going to step 1 foot back. You gotta have traction or shoes on. 1 foot back, other foot back. Pull in the belly, squeeze the seat. Gaze toward the seat of your chair so your neck is straight. And we're going to hold this for 3 breaths. Then go ahead, walk your feet forward. Stand up. A breath in, a breath out. And we'll do it one more time. One tip on this with the elbows down, just watch me for a sec. For the upper back, don't want you to be pushed humped, but can you see the difference? Shoulders wide. So let your heart sink down between your shoulders. Not this, but this. And that's all. It's this versus this. A breath in, a breath out. And then if you can, hold it for 3 to 5 breaths. You choose. So we start close to the chair, forearms, elbows down, and arms wide on the chair. Arms are not close together. Step 1 foot back to the ball of the foot. other foot back. And then think of lowering your heart toward the chair, and you'll feel your chest kind of sink between your shoulders. Then gaze toward the back of the seat so your neck is straight. Pull in the belly, contract the thighs, contract your urinary muscles, and see if you can hold it for 3 to 5 breaths. Step forward and come up. Good. Way to hang in there. Okay, let's open and close. Backward arm circle. I just like that because I just don't always feel like getting down on the floor. Be able to lean on a chair like that, get that good of a core workout. I like that. A breath in and out. Okay, getting ready for our 5 deep rapid breaths. Shoulders wide, palms back, 5 deep breaths. Circle back,